Hello, my name is Ashley Young, and this is my hubby.
Delvin Young.
And so we're planning on posting this on like a Facebook group or something so that we can keep everybody up to date on kind of our progress with the IVF. But to kind of start out, I wanted to be able to have a video that kind of goes over where we are, what led us here, and how we got here in our journey. So I'm going to make it kind of snappy, but just to kind of give everybody an overview. In August of 2015, August and September, Delvin and I began our journey. This was before we got engaged and before we got married. We started a couple of rounds of Clomid and timed intercourse.
Well, because I knew that I wanted to Ashley to be my baby's mama before we got married. I just
Right.
knew. So,
So there's that. So we did that and we didn't get any success with that. And then in October 2015, we did get engaged on Halloween and probably, in fact, became pregnant at that time, unbeknownst to us until December 1st of 2015, which is when we discovered that we were actually having a miscarriage. So it was very early on. We weren't able to determine what the cause of it was or anything like that. So at this point,
also note, which was, we seen light because we knew that with that, there's a possibility in the future.
right, because at least we got pregnant, so that was a positive. But we kind of took a break on everything, and because we were planning a wedding and trying to get everything all organized, so we kind of just said, let's pause on that for a minute, and we'll figure out what we need to do. We knew a lot of couples who had actually gone to Cincinnati to the Institute for Reproductive Health, but we just weren't at that point yet, and worried about the financial aspects of it. So we kind of decided we would just kind of chill for a little bit and plan the wedding and figure out what our next steps were. So between 2016 and January 2018, we did try for more a few more times and timed intercourse, and that did not get us any success that time. So in January of 2018, probably it was actually toward the end of 2017, but somewhere before January 18, we did our first consultation with the Institute for Reproductive Health. We started seeing Dr. Schreiber, who's awesome. We love him. We basically at that point were able to do our first semen analysis on Delvin, and we discovered that while he has a very large volume of boys, or of sperm, he doesn't. They're not always shaped correctly. So the morphology, it's a low morphology.
Have no tail. Some may not swim. Some may swim sideways, but have a lot.
But he's got a lot.
19 million.
That was 19 million. They like to see about 15 million. So we'll kind of get to where we are now on that because it gets even better. But we did do 2 IUIs in 2018. We did one in March. We did one in April. Both were unsuccessful, but we were definitely not done. Sometimes it takes quite a few, and Dr. Chopper was very transparent with us about that. We did learn also, in addition to Delvin having the low morphology, that my AMH numbers, which is basically my egg reserve, was very low. So age obviously plays a part in that. So we know our clock is ticking, and we knew we needed to kind of move quickly. So about the end of 2018, somewhere toward the end of it, we found out about Parental Hope's Journey to Parenthood, learned a little bit more about the organization, decided we wanted to partake in that. In doing that, we built a team called Forever Young and asked that all of our friends and loved ones who were able to make a contribution purchase a ticket. It was $25, and they would purchase them on our behalf to be put into a drawing for a free IVF cycle. So we were super, super excited about that. We started getting tickets pretty much immediately. By April 2018, which is when the event was, we did have 40 tickets, which we were very excited because originally I was like shooting for like 20. So I thought we were really super excited about that.
Yes, and very grateful to everyone who contributed
Very
on
grateful.
our behalf. So.
One of you it's because of one of you that this has happened. So thank you so much. We are forever grateful for that. I mean, that the support was amazing. And it was super hard to ask because neither one of us are really big on asking people to help, and so I can't thank everybody enough for their participation in that and contributing. So thanks again. But we did go to the event, and luckily we found out that not only were they going to give away one cycle that was donated by the Institute for Reproductive Health, the place we were already going to. We also found out that the Hubers which is he is actually a player for the Bengals. Him and his wife had actually struggled with infertility and felt like this was their calling, so they had donated 2 cycles of IVF, one of which we won. So we were super elated and just completely mind blown that this even happened. There were so many tickets there, you guys. I mean, we walked in and we saw the tickets. We were like, "Oh my gosh, this is serious."
Said a little prayer.
We literally said a prayer right at the table, right when they were drawing, and they said, "Forever young." I literally cannot even believe it, but there's a video for that, which I'll share also. And so, long story short, we ended up going in June for our consultation for the IVF. Same as what we knew before, dealing with Delvin's morphology issues and then my low ovarian reserve. We knew that we probably weren't going to anticipate having a massive amount of eggs. But we also knew that we were going to have to do a couple of extra procedures that we were going to have to pay for in addition to the medicines, because even though we won actually the cycle, what's not included in that is the medications and anything additional outside of the norm IVF. So for us, the low morphology, Delvin needed to do a procedure, is going to have to do a procedure called an ICSI, and that's just where they, rather than, they just literally inject the sperm right into the egg. So it kind of helps
Instead
that.
of letting it swim.
Yeah, so it kind of helps. So that helps. But then there's also the assisted hatching. So that was about $1,900 extra on top of the medicine. So definitely, if you do want an IVF or anything, if you're lucky enough to do that, you do want to be prepared for the cost that is going to still come your way, because things like semen analysis and any extra procedures and medications, they're not covered. So be prepared for that. Still super grateful, because that is a ton of money that we could not have come up with. I mean, we were able to come up with, thank God, the money for all these extra procedures and all the medicines, but we could not have swung it with the IVF. I mean, that was kind of just not in our cards, we thought, because it was entirely too expensive and our insurance covers none of it. So anywho, we basically in August, we started deciding that we were going to do it, that we were going to do our IVF cycle in August.
Let me also say, in June when we had our consultation, Dr. Schreiber, one of the things that he wanted me to do, we had a doctor's visit on a Wednesday, and he told me I'd have to quit smoking cigarettes. So I'm a cigarette smoker, and I explained to him that I had cut back a little bit, which I did a little bit, but I mean, I was still smoking pretty heavily and daily. So that Wednesday, he told me one of the things he'd like for me to do is cut back, on my cigarette smoking. So that Sunday, I quit cold turkey. I haven't had a cigarette since June.
First of all, like, such a good husband and such a good support system for all this, and he's done great on everything. So I honestly couldn't be more lucky to have somebody by my side in this journey that is just like committed to the goal we have in mind, and who's like super supportive through everything, because I've had numerous meltdowns throughout this, trust me. And I'm sure there's many more to come, even still. So Delvin was successful in quitting smoking, and we started to do August IVF, and then Cap, as most of you guys know, our dog Cap had gotten really sick, and
as you hear scratching his food bowl,
he wants feed. He's
feed
hungry.
Me.
He got really sick, and we ended up having to have exploratory surgery to find out that he did have an obstruction, and of course that was several $1,000s that we had to come up with and take care of that. So stress, the financial aspect, everything kind of basically said to us, we really need to wait till September. So September came, and on the 9th, my cycle started, and on the 11th, we did a baseline ultrasound just to see what things look like, and things were looking good so far. And then, there's a couple of different semen analysis. The one that we have back already, Delvin has, say it,
35 million.
35 million sperm. His morphology still is a little tricky, but again, the ICSI is for that, so that's great.
So by stop smoking, it almost doubled.
Yeah, 35 million. They want 15. So he's got the volume, that's for sure. So during this time, we started the Femara, which is pills. We started the follisteum, which is this little guy here, super little neat thing. We also did the Menopur, which are these, with this lovely little thing here. And let me just tell you, just in case if anybody out there goes through this, when the pharmacy delivered these to us, these are huge gauge needles. This was day one. We had a total crisis on this. My poor sister was with me, Sarah. Delvin was there. We could not find the little small gauge needles, so we thought we were going to have to take this massive, the needle is insanity. I'll actually post a picture later. But luckily at the last second, Delvin found that these little guys were actually in the same bag as these guys, just kind of hidden. So crisis averted there, thank God, because this needle is alarming. You have nothing to say on that? Easy says the giver and not the receiver. This guy here, easy peasy breezy. If the shots scare you, if you're doing IVF or thinking about IVF, if the shots are what's scaring you, because I know for me they were, no, it's seriously not that. It's not as bad. Now, I'm not going to say the emotional, that I'm not a little bit more moody or that I don't feel a little bit more crampy sometimes and things. I'm sure I do. Delvin would probably say yes. Oh, he's turning around because he doesn't want to respond to that. Well, that's sweet of him. So we've added a new shot now, but I don't know how to say it. It's like Ganirelix or something like that. So that goes in there now too. So that's a new one. There's just shots everywhere. There's medicine everywhere. We've got like a huge sharps container that we dispose of them in. When it's all said and done, I'm taking a picture of that because there's like shots all up in there. But good thing is I do have an excellent nurse giving me the shots. He does it so good. It makes it so easy. I don't even sweat it at all. He's got it. So maybe there's a future for him in the medical industry. Today we went for the ultrasound to see what my follicles look like. And for those of you guys that don't understand the process, because I know I didn't, the follicles are kind of the sacs. Inside of the sacs are the eggs. So if the follicles measure a certain size, that typically means that the egg is measuring a certain size, and they're obviously looking for the healthiest and largest follicles to therefore then have the largest, healthiest eggs, hopefully. So I have follicles. I have a ton of follicles, but you want to look at the ones that are actually measuring in size. So for us, we knew that, again, Dr. Chopperhead was very transparent saying that he didn't feel we'd have a ton, and that in fact we probably would have to skip the genetic testing just because when they send them off for genetic testing, you can even still lose more embryos that way. So we're not doing that. And we also probably may not have any to freeze, although we hope we will. So today, currently...
Oh, we want me to.
Oh, we want me to. So today we have 3 that are measuring decent. They did say it's kind of early still, so there could be some changes still. I'm going to try to do like every wide cell under the sun to try to see if I can get any of these other follicles to grow and be juicy and healthy. A lot of people don't like when I say juicy follicles, but I do. I'm going to say it. So anywho, now we're just going to wait to find out about Delvin's semen sample, and then we go back again on Saturday. Saturday kind of should be like the final ultrasound before the big retrieval day, which we're looking at on Monday or Tuesday. So Monday or Tuesday they'll actually go in, they'll retrieve any of the follicles or eggs or whatever that are measuring in size that look good, and at that point then the embryologist will take those and they will put the sperm in them and all that good stuff, and then it's a waiting game past that point. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. It's about 5 days usually that takes to monitor the embryos, and then typically you don't always end up with the same amount that you started out with. So even if we only end up with one, it only takes one. Yep. It only takes one. So we're not bummed about that. It's just, it obviously it's not like the greatest thing, but it's not like the worst thing either. Bless you in advance.
Excuse me. It's coming.
So anyway, that is where we are with everything right now. I just wanted to be able to share updates with everybody, kind of in one platform, and we teetered around with the idea of how we would approach this once we went through the process. It takes 2 weeks after they implant them back in me. It takes 2 weeks for us to determine whether I'm pregnant. And a lot of people don't like to share the information until the first trimester is done because obviously it's a scary time. But I feel like I think we're just going to handle it case by case. Like we will figure out when we get there as to how communicative we'll be about whether we're pregnant or not. It may not be that we blast it everywhere just yet, just because I don't know. But on the flip side of that, if I make people aware, then that's less people asking me. So it's kind of like, what do you do? So we're kind of working through that right now. But at this point, I just would ask that everybody continue to pray for us and, send good juju, whatever your thing is. Please do it for us. We'll take any prayers, any positive thoughts, anything you can spread our way, because obviously we really, really want this, and this is like a shot or like an opportunity of a lifetime for us, really. So, anything you want to add to that? I think I'm very wordy, so I think I've covered it all. Anywho, well, I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll get this posted as soon as possible, get the page going, and share everything that we can. So, thanks so much.
Thank you all.